There are very few things that I regret in this life, but missing the coronation night of Binibining Pilipinas 2024 for the 60th edition of the pageant has got to be one of them. What's up everyone? Welcome once again to the channel. It's your boy Luis Portelles, and today I'm gonna be recapping the full coronation night of Binibining Pilipinas. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend because I was in Poland for Miss and Mr. Supranational when the coronation night was actually happening. As a matter of fact, I missed the coronation night because at the time I was coming back to the Philippines. I was flying from Europe to Manila, so I just couldn't make it on time. I will forever be sad because of that, but at the same time, I got to experience it like back in the day, watching from home, taking notes, and then making a video for all of you guys. This year's edition of the pageant gave us a lot of things to talk about, and I'm gonna try as much as I possibly can to go through every single one of them. So go get your drinks, your popcorn, make yourself comfortable, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start by talking about the opening segment of the entire coronation night, which in my opinion was one for the books. Over 100 past Binibining Pilipinas queens from different years, different pageant systems, all coming back home and sharing a moment not only with the audience during the red carpet, but also on stage. I just love the fact that Binibini gave that moment to every single one of those queens to experience being on stage once again. Some of them have been on that stage recently, some of them haven't been there for decades, but at the end of the day, I thought that it was a beautiful way to open the show because it shows that once a Binibini, always a Binibini. I also really like the fact that they had performers from different times and different eras in the pageant. Of course, we have Martin Nivera, Gary Valenciano, we had SB19 who were able to perform together. And as I said, I feel like every single one of them brings a different era, a different feeling to deliver something to the fans that was heartwarming, nostalgic, and epic. Because the performance was so high energy, so up-tempo, so emotional at the same time. And of course, with that iconic theme song for Binibining Pilipinas. Binibining Pilipinas, oh. Even I know it. Wow. It was at this particular time that I knew that this year's edition of Binibining was not just going to be a regular beauty pageant, but it was going to be more of a celebration about the legacy, about the things that Binibining has accomplished as an organization, but also about the lives that they have been able to touch during those 60 years of existence. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on during this video, but I just want you to keep that in mind. This was not just a regular pageant, this was a celebration. Let's talk about the girls for a moment because of course everything up until this point is iconic and you know that the girls were not going to disappoint. We had a beautiful opening number with all 40 candidates wearing a silver dress that just looked incredible. I'm so happy. All of these girls look amazing. And this is one thing that we have to give Binibining props for because up until now, there are so many pageant systems in the Philippines. This is a pageant country. People love pageantry and we have 1001 beauty pageants. However, Binibining still manages to attract quality girls, beautiful, polished, well-trained, great conversation skills, and most importantly, they just look the part on stage. This was no exception. All of them looked like diamonds. And just to segue very well into the music of the night, for the opening number, the ladies were dancing to Rihanna's Diamonds, which I thought it was very fitting with the 60th anniversary of Binibini, and also Madame Shirley Bassey's Diamonds Are Forever. A little bit of a nod to the legacy of Binibining Pilipinas and the fact that the pageant is not going anywhere. But more on that later. One of the biggest questions for this year's edition of Binibining Pilipinas, of course, it was the production. How grand is it gonna be? Who is going to be there? How much money are they putting into it? Well, we don't know the exact numbers, but what I can tell you is that they definitely did not disappoint. The stage just looked like it cost $1 million. Honestly, I love the concept of having a stage with the shape of a crown. Very fitting for Binibini. Again, it's that celebration of the legacy of what the organization has been able to do for the girls and for the country. I mean, if the Philippines is considered a pageant powerhouse nowadays, a big portion of that and the recognition should go to Binibini, that for so many years prepared and delivered so many incredible queens and crowns for the country. In terms of production, this is not during the show per se, but right before we had the red carpet, which I absolutely adored because it was a very grand and very welcoming way to just bring all of your guests, all of the audience. It made it so interactive for the fans who get to go there early, see the queens, talk to them, takes photo with them, and then when they enter the venue, they are welcomed by this huge and beautiful crown stage. I just thought that was perfect. I also love the fact that they had, not only the former queens, but also a celebrity lineup. So many people who have had a great impact in this industry. All of them showed up for Binibini. So when it comes to production, event, and experience, they have a 10 out of 10. For me, at least. We're gonna talk about the contestants, but right before, I just want to highlight the hosts for the night, of course, because we had Catriona Gray, Nicole Cordoves, Mary J. Lastimosa, Kylie Versosa, and Rufa Gutierrez. Incredible women, all of them extremely accomplished, and I love the fact that they're giving visibility to different generations of queens as well who have marked the pageant, the beauty pageant over the years. I also love the fact that they keep on bringing familiar faces that we know are going to deliver a quality show. I think this is the third year for Catriona and Nicole Cordoves to host the pageant. They're bringing back MJ Lastimosa, who always gives us something funny.
Oh, what can't she do, MJ?
Everything. Everything. Our Binibining Beauty Derm. And she will go home with 150,000 pesos cash prize plus 500 pesos worth of Beauty Derm product.
Sometimes it's like a little expression, a little misstep, something clumsy that just makes it iconic and entertaining. And I personally really look forward to those moments because it's just pure Filipino humor and joy. Alright everyone, now let's get into it. Let's talk about the parade of candidates for this 2024 edition of Binibining Pilipinas. Something that is different from other years is that this time around, all contestants, all 40 of them, got to walk during the swimsuit presentation as well as the evening gown competition, which is something quite unheard of. Sometimes certain pageants will do that, but perhaps the contestants will get to do the first round, maybe the swimsuit, and then there's a cut, then they go to evening gown. Not this time. Everyone gets a chance to walk on stage. And I just want to bring you back to my previous comment about this year's pageant being a celebration more than a pageant. Precisely, they really just wanted to highlight the beauty of the delegates, give everyone a moment on stage, highlight them, their effort, their stories, their journeys, and most importantly, allow them to show what they have to offer, their performance. Before the swimsuit competition started, they also highlighted all of the queens who had won that category, Best in Swimsuit, for the past of the organization, which I thought, once again, it's a great way to celebrate, to appreciate. It was a great way to recognize those who came before the girls that are currently on stage. I mean, honestly, if you ask me, the girls looked incredible. I love that the swimwear looked very fitting. I love that it was the shade of pink of Binibining Pilipinas, very on brand. You could see the craftsmanship. This was not just like a simple swimsuit. There were stones, there was some beading. You see that there is work, time, and thought that was put into this particular round for every single one of the girls. And for me, as a proud 18, one of the cherry on tops was that they got to walk to the rhythm of Moonlight by SB19. So honestly, I was just jamming and dancing, and I wanted to get up and also do my swimsuit walk because SB19 was giving me life all throughout this round. Now, a little bit of constructive criticism doesn't hurt nobody, right? So I was not so crazy about the yellow lighting during the show. There were moments where the yellow lighting with the girl's skin doesn't contrast so well, and also it kind of clashes with the pink of the outfit, so I was not sold on that. I was also not so crazy about some of the camera angles. For the most part, the show was very visually appealing, very nice, no complaints, but there was a moment when the girls walked to the edge of the stage where they were getting these camera angles from the bottom. It was not so flattering. Honestly, it was just giving like Kifi shots, and that's not what I think I want to see on the stage of Binibining Pilipinas. At least not me. So perhaps in the future, let's not do that, all right? All right. Let's talk about the evening gown presentation. Once again, we got to see all of the 40 contestants on stage. Personally, I appreciate that. I love that. We also got the recognition for the queens from the past who won the award for Best in Evening Gown. So I thought that's once again, a way to show your respects to those who came before you, who paved the way for you. So during the evening gown segment, the girls got to showcase their elegance and most importantly, to highlight the craftsmanship of local designers. And they were serenaded by TJ Monterde and Maki. How to be you, Binibinis. This second round also contributed to what I'm telling you. This year was not just a regular pageant, it was a celebration. I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but that's how I feel. Every woman got a chance on stage to showcase themselves under a different light. They already got a moment during the swimsuit round to show their performance, how fierce they are, how they can walk and handle the heels and everything else. But this time around, it's all about elegance, regal, softness. This was a crucial moment, not just for the Binibinis, of course, this is something that they will remember for the rest of their lives, but I am sure I put my hand on fire that this was an extremely important moment for all of the designers who put so much time, effort, sweat, blood, and tears into creating these beautiful gowns for every single one of the Binibinis. The craftsmanship of the designers is something that I think it doesn't get highlighted enough in pageantry, and they really go out of their ways to give their absolute best to make the girls look as presentable as they possibly can. And without that, pageantry in this country or anywhere in the world wouldn't be what it is. Props to the girls, first of all, for incredible performances. Props to the designers for putting so much work and giving us their absolute best. And ultimately, props to Binibini for allowing everyone up until now to show their best on stage. It was indeed a great celebration. Alright, finally at some point there needed to be a cut. As I told you, this is a celebration of womanhood, of beautiful Binibinis, and the potential of women in the Philippines. However, it is still a beauty pageant, right? So we need to make a cut at some point. And this is when we were introduced to the top 15. To be honest, because this year I was doing so much at the same time and I was covering pageants abroad and I was traveling back to the Philippines and I was keeping up with 1,000 things, I didn't get to familiarize myself with the candidates as much as to feel upset that someone made it or didn't make it to the top 15. Watching the pageant up until that point based on performance, based on beauty of face, physique, and as well as the things that I got to follow on social media all throughout the competition, I was very satisfied with the top 15. Let me know if you guys share the same sentiment in the comment section down below. I know that there's always some people who feel a certain way. This person should have been in the top 15. This person shouldn't have been in the top 15. For me personally, watching as a fan and as someone who followed the pageant, I would say casually, I was satisfied by it. Now let's get into the top 15 Q&A portion, and that is correct. You heard it right. Everyone in the top 15 got to answer a question. And I thought, well, I have mixed feelings about it. Mostly positive, but still mixed. So I'll start with, the feedback, the constructive criticism. I think that a top 15, it's a bit too long when it comes to, answering questions, and it just extends things a little bit too much, to the point that during the Q&A portion, they needed to go to a commercial break and then come back and then continue the Q&A. So I thought, I don't know, maybe I would have done it with the top 10 borderline, top 7 borderline, but going all the way to a top 15, it was a little bit of a stretch, in my humble opinion. Now, on the bright side, what I liked about this is that there was variety of questions, okay? Everyone gets a different question. Everyone provides a very radically different answer. You get the girls who are really, they grab the microphone, they drop the microphone, they nail it, and they give us a statement. And then you have the girls who are a little bit more clumsy when it comes to the comm skills, who maybe are a little bit nervous, who maybe there's a little bit of a language barrier and they cannot express themselves. So you get to see the ups and downs. For a member of the audience, is like following a roller coaster. I mean, Q&A is one of my favorite parts because it has me on the edge of my seat. It could perfectly be a make or break moment for some of the front runners, or a winning moment for one of the dark horses, right? To their favor, I think that giving everyone the opportunity to answer the question is just another layer of fairness. You cannot tell Binibini that this was not a fair show, because everyone in the top 40 got to do the swimsuit round, the evening gown round, and then the top 15, all of them got to answer a question and address the judges. I think that this is perhaps the most fairness that I have ever seen in a beauty pageant, not just in the country, anywhere. Of course, we already had another iconic moment with Gloria Diaz, who is already known for her questions in beauty pageants. I know that the girls were shaking. If they get a question from Gloria Diaz, things can go downhill for some of y'all. And it did. That was one of my favorite parts, seeing Gloria's facial expressions and just how harsh she can be sometimes with the question, but also in a very motherly and protective way. I won't extend myself too much on that because I actually filmed a separate reaction video just for the Q&A portion where I get to share with you guys my thoughts and opinions about every single one of the delegates who made the top 15 and answer the questions. So if you want to know more about my specific thoughts on the girls, wait for that video. She'll be out by tomorrow or after tomorrow. Let's get to the money. Of course, the winners of the night, we have the second runner-up, Miss Laguna Trisha Martinez, who last year was first runner-up, I believe. So I was a little bit sad to see her not go further in the competition because, of course, once you come back, you want to do better than the last time, right? You want to maybe go home with a crown. First runner-up, Miss Zambales, Crystal Jean de la Cruz, Miss Tala. From my perception, as I said, I didn't follow Binibini religiously this year because I was doing so much, but from my outsider's perspective, I thought Tala was going to be one of the girls going home with a crown. Fortunately, she ended up as a first runner-up. Regardless, excellent performance. Binibining Pilipinas Globe 2024 was crowned and is Miss Pampanga Jasmine Bongay. I'm so happy for her. She looks beautiful. Great performance all through the night. And last but not least, of course, the winner of the night, Binibining Pilipinas International 2024, Miss Abra Mirna Esguerra. I was reading some fun facts on social media that 60 years ago, the reigning Binibini was called Mirna, and this year, to celebrate the 60th, Mirna is also the winner of the competition. She will get to represent the Philippines at Miss International. And I also want to give her props because Miss Abra was candidate number 40. She was always the last one going on stage. She was always the last one presenting herself to the audience and the judges. And usually from the judges' perspective and from the audience perspective, you get tired at some point. So she had that special something, that command that will be able to grab their attention, even though they had to go through 40 contestants before they get to her. So congratulations. On another note, I'm also very happy that Binibini is giving recognition to girls that are not so much stereotypically what people think is the prototype for Miss International. For 2 years in a row, they have been crowning girls who are performers, who actually have a lot of presence on stage, who actually deliver, something enjoyable on stage that goes beyond the appearance or a behavior. Girls who are not scared to play with their looks, with their outfits, with the styling, and who make it overall a more enjoyable experience. In my opinion, that's one of the things that Binibini needed to work on and that I did suggest on my previous video about Binibini. And I'm glad to see that they are incorporating those things into the outcome of this year's competition. All right, so let's wrap it up. Let's come up with a little conclusion. And honestly, I think that I said it a couple of times during this video, but I will say it again. Yes, I will. Binibining Pilipinas 2024 was a celebration more than a pageant. It was a night of looking back, retrospective. It was an opportunity to give their flowers to the hundreds of women that have been through the Binibini system, who have won their crowns and that have represented the Philippines internationally. They are the ones, alongside the organization, who have elevated the name of the Philippines, who have put them on the map, at least as far as beauty pageant is concerned. They are the ones, alongside Binibini, who gave the Philippines the status of a powerhouse in pageantry. All of those years of recognition, of hard work, of appreciation, of culture, of performance, of beauty, it's all because of Binibini and the women that we got to see that night on stage. Remember what they say, once a Binibini, always a Binibini. A couple of weeks ago, I made a video titled, "Is Binibining Pilipinas a Diane beauty pageant?" The title for this video was simply a question that I was answering, but a lot of people did get triggered by it. And I suspect that a lot of them did not take the time to watch the video because during the final coronation of Binibining Pilipinas, they actually proved me right. They proved my point. Binibining Pilipinas is not a Diane beauty pageant. It is actually thriving. It is actually more alive than ever, and the final of the 60th edition was precisely the proof of that. It showed how vibrant the legacy of Binibining Pilipinas is. It goes beyond performance, it goes beyond looks. It's a family of women that have uplifted the name of the country, the legacy of the nation all over the world, and who have left their mark in endless industries in the country. They are accomplished women, and they have brought pride and honor not only to Binibining Pilipinas organization, but also to the Philippines. That is something that you cannot build overnight. It takes time, it takes resilience, it takes determination, and of course, a lot of glamour and exceptional beauty. I know that the future is bright for Binibining Pilipinas because they have the love and support of the fans. You could feel it all throughout the broadcast with the people present on the venue. You could see it before the broadcast with the people present on the red carpet, the engagement on social media right after, and just the way that everyone is celebrating the winners of the night. That to me is more important, more powerful than any title. Now, I still want them to get a couple more crowns, okay? But at least the most important thing is already there to begin with. Alright everyone, that is a wrap on my recap of Binibining Pilipinas 2024. As I said, I'm so sad that I was not there in person, but it's okay because there will always be another time, another edition, and the legacy continues, the celebration continues, and so will I. I will continue to provide content and reviews and commentary for all of you guys. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comment section how do you feel about everything that I mentioned on today's video. Stay tuned for my reaction video to the Q&A portion, so I will go in details just on that. You know, that's my favorite part, so I will highlight it. And of course, subscribe, like this video, and share with a friend. I will see you on the next one. Bye guys.